I never dreamed that a robot would bring me to tears with its twist in the dead of night. That's why I'm dying to share this little side story with you all. It all began with a wrong text sent to Rover by a complete stranger. The stranger said there was a mech soldier severely damaged. They'd filed repair requests countless times, but it still couldn't be fixed. When we arrived at the scene, we found a mech soldier codenamed Robbie. His pressure and temperature modules were functioning normally, but his core had sustained critical damage from Voidstorm, and his energy module was beyond repair. There was no way to save him. We could only watch his energy drain away bit by bit until he shut down for good. Rover said, "This is no different from waiting for death." Robbie argued, "In the concept of machines, there is no such thing as death, only two states, on and off. His directive is to protect this area. He was powered on for that purpose, and now he will hold on until the very last drop of energy is spent, all for the same goal." Rover insisted that waiting around to die was meaningless. But as a machine, Robbie's system couldn't comprehend the word meaning. So Rover said, "Instead of wasting your remaining energy lingering here, why not use it to do something more meaningful?" And just like that, Robbie made his bucket list. Robbie said he wanted to see the underwater tunnel, a place he'd patrolled countless times, yet never truly seen. Rover took Robbie to that underwater tunnel he'd spoken of. It was his first time witnessing the world beneath the waves. The sight was even more breathtaking than the images stored in his database. The light was far more delicate than on the surface, but that only made it more beautiful. Robbie said he'd never viewed the area he was tasked to protect from such a perspective. He then recalled an old mission. He'd been attacked by an iron hoof, which had torn off a piece of his components. Swamped with duties, he'd never had the chance to retrieve it. Now, with his energy running out, Robbie wanted to get that missing piece back. Rover helped him find the lost component, but its connector was already warped beyond use. Robbie said at least he'd gotten it back. Even holding it in his hand made him feel like the empty spot inside him had been filled. Robbie was grateful to Rover. He mentioned there was a hot spring nearby and invited Rover to go with him. So a human and a machine soaked in the hot spring together. Robbie said, "I wish I could experience the hot spring too, but we machines have no physical sense of temperature." Rover suggested, "Why not look up the definition of hot spring?" The data showed the burning sensation of a hot spring is essentially a human perception in water, triggered by temperature stimulating the skin, which is analogous to electrical stimulation for machines. So Rover summoned Zip Zap and let it release an electric current into the hot spring. The current crackled through the water, and Robbie's status began to change. He seemed to be happy. A tingling sensation traveled through every pipeline in his body, reaching every corner of his frame. Then, Rover used various echoes to simulate different sensations for him. This rare experience was logged in Robbie's database. Robbie said he wanted to do more things outside his program, like getting a new paint job. Once, he would have deemed that a waste of time. But when his time was running out, he realized every single one of these unscripted acts had a meaning of its own. Robbie's energy was fading fast. He said he had one last wish. He wanted Rover to take him to the top of the sword so he could experience flying by falling into the lake below. Humans yearn for the sky, so they invented all kinds of devices to fulfill their dream of soaring. In his final moments, Robbie also wanted to push his limits. Mech soldiers of his model would never get the chance to be equipped with flight modules, nor would they ever set foot in the sky. This was the only way. Of course, he wouldn't break. His buffer module would keep him safe, but it would cost him his last remaining energy. Robbie said, "In human eyes, meaning is often tied to love. My creators even wrote love into my underlying code, but I could never understand what it meant to love. After this short day, I think I'm starting to grasp how love is expressed. I did so many things just for myself today. When I review the cases of love in my database again, I will put myself in them. I'm beginning to understand hugs, kisses, even the words that convey intense emotions. So, I used my last 1% of energy to run an analysis on the acts I just mentioned. The system's conclusion: to truly learn how to express love, you might first have to learn to love yourself, just like everything I did today. I can't hug, I can't kiss, and I can't use complex words to convey my feelings. I have only one way to express my love: 3 + 10e. On the imaginary number axis, this is my complete love for this world, a love that wants to protect it. Humans often say they hope machines will carry on their legacy, but for me now I hope you will carry on mine. Carry forward the imaginary love that machines have for this world. With that, Robbie took heavy steps to the edge of the summit and jumped off without hesitation. Energy reserves nearly depleted, system shut down in 60 seconds. Robbie experienced the flight he'd never known before. Even 60 seconds were enough for him to gaze at the world he'd protected one last time. To Robbie, falling felt no different from flying until his system shut down for good. I may not be as dazzling as a shooting star, but perhaps I can burn myself out to say goodbye to you all. At the end of the story, Robbie fell silent. He would never wake up again. Rover placed him in a spot with a wide view, as if he were merely powered off temporarily, ready to stand up again at any moment. Robbie's story pays homage to many things. The bucket list of things you wish you'd done before your final moments. The expression of love as 3+10I from Iblis's dream. The love machines have for the world. A love that may never be fully translated into human emotional language, yet exists nonetheless, beyond the limits of human perception. The final shot even pays tribute to a 2006 microfilm, a wingless bird longing to fly, leaping off a cliff and experiencing flight in its fall. It fulfilled its dream with its life. Though it's just a short side quest, it's definitely a story worth experiencing in full. That subtle yet piercing punch woven into it by Woo-Ah had me sobbing in the middle of the night.